Hi everyone, I've been off for at least a week. I've had a stinking cold again, which caused my voice to completely go, so recording anything was just pointless because my sign language is not up to... I'm going to do that again. Recording a video would have been pointless because my sign language is not up to any standard where I would have been able to communicate effectively. And sorry, my handwriting's terrible, so flip chart notes would not work either. So today I'm doing a catch-up review video. In the last couple of weeks I have finished 3 books. Spellslinger, Zenith, and Queen of Hearts. They are all library books, so they are waiting for me to review them so they can be returned and hopefully clear some space on my library card. I'm going to start off with Spellslinger. This is written by this chap. I'm not even going to butcher names. This person here. And I would highly recommend this book for lovers of sarcastic, witty characters, first-person narration, magical systems, and an element of the Wild West as well, I would say. This follows Callan, who is supposedly going to be a mage. There's a little problem though. He can't do magic at all, and he's the eldest son of one of the most powerful mage families in his community. So he's got a huge problem because those that don't strike the magic by the time they're 16 go into like a slave class within this town, and it doesn't matter whose son, brother, father you are. If you don't have magic, you are basically discarded and ignored. You become part of the slave community. So there's a lot of discussion about prejudice and slavery in here, which is quite interesting, but it's handled really well because, like I say, the story is told from Callan's point of view. He's a 16-year-old kid who's got a lot on his plate, and he's quite a sarcastic person, so you get a lot of that tone coming through, and just the way he explains things is very, very clever and very funny. He meets a outsider called Ferris, who actually ends up saving his life, and the two strike up an unlikely friendship, as it were, and Callan is encouraged to find out the secrets of his people's past. So this story delves into some politics, not too heavy though, and a lot of secrets and lies that people tell to keep power. I really enjoyed this story. It's certainly a coming-of-age story with a healthy dose of magic thrown in there. Things get nasty in here, but it's told in such a way that it's not depressing or anything, which is quite good. I highly enjoyed this. My husband read it to me, so we were reading a few chapters each night. The chapters, on the whole, aren't too long, so you can get through this quite easily. And because it's from a first-person point of view, that is actually a likeable voice. It's really easy to read. So highly, highly recommended. I can't say that enough. So we're going to try and get our hands on the rest of the series. Next book I'm going to talk about is A Queen of Hearts by Colleen Oakes. This was in my mobile library. I picked it up because it's like a prequel to Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, but it certainly takes it in a whole different strand. There are big twists on characters that we know and love, and we're made to feel quite sympathetic for the Queen of Hearts, who at this point is Princess Dinah. Those of you who know Alice in Wonderland will know that Dinah is the name of Alice's cat, which I find quite interesting. This is quite a good read for those who liked revamped fairy tales, politics, secrets, lies. Can you see a strand going on my reading lately? And it's very clever at twisting what we think we know about Wonderland. I don't want to spoil it too much because I went in knowing very, very little. But I will say it plods along quite nicely. Nothing particularly dire happens, really, to our main character until like the last 20 pages where suddenly things get really bad really, really quick. And it's almost out of the blue unless you've been paying attention. And I mean quite a bit of attention. I did like Dinah. She's quite a sympathetic character. She's got her flaws. Obviously, she's going to turn out to be the Queen of Hearts, so she can't be perfect because Queen of Hearts was never perfect. But She's very sympathetic. She does have a heart. She does care about things. There's a little romancy bit in here. It's not excessive, but it's okay. It's a YA romance kind of thing. And I would say if you want an alternative version of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, if you want to know a bit more about the world before Alice arrived, you might want to give this a go. This is a trilogy of books as far as I'm aware, and apparently the last one is very, very good. I think its major drawback is it just takes a little while to get going. There's a lot of things that happen that I wouldn't say were necessary to the plot, but then they are later on. Does that make sense? But an enjoyable read nevertheless. The final book I want to review today is Zenith by Sasha Alsberg and Lindsay Cummings. This has had a bit of a reputation, I would say, from certain corners of BookTube. I wasn't going to read it, then decided actually I'm going to make up my own mind and read it. The first problem I have with this book is it's thick. This is over 500 pages, and for some of those pages I felt could have been cut, which is a shame. I will highlight this is a sci-fi YA book. If you do not like sci-fi, do not read this book. I keep describing it as Throne of Glass meets Star Wars because that's what keeps coming to mind. A lot of the imagery in here I felt was very George Lucas influence, very much of that idea of aliens are out there but they're humanoid enough. So there's a lot of that kind of description going on. And our lead character, Andy, she's very much a Selena Sardotheron personality. She's got major guilt issues, which really she shouldn't have. She seems to be relishing in this dual personality thing that she's got going to survive. But she also kind of has this heart. She cares for her crew. And you're kind of wondering, actually, you're quite a mixed up person, really. So she's sort of likeable, but like Selena, I didn't really gel with her at all. It's more the supporting characters I'm interested in this story. There is a big politic storyline going on in here. Obviously, the system has had a major war about 15 years ago, and this is about the revenge that's going to come from that. There's a lot of revenge in this story, which is great if you like revenge stories. It's billed as when the universe needs saving, there's only one girl for the job. I think that's more the setup line for the next book, because that's not really what Andy does in this story. She's not saving the universe at this point. She's doing a job. She's rescuing a person, and things go from there. There are some twists in this book that do come out of nowhere, which is a shame, but there are other ones that are signposted earlier on, so if you were paying attention you'd note when they were going to come into play, and I think that's quite clever. This book doesn't deserve the amount of hate it is getting though. It's not a bad book, it's just not a great book, which is a shame because there's not much sci-fi YA out there, and I would really have liked to have seen this be higher up on the level. What am I trying to say? Hang on. There's not much sci-fi YA out there, which is a real shame because this book could have been the spring point that everybody was going to start writing sci-fi for the YA genre. And that would have been great because I really like sci-fi, and I do think it's either a genre you get or a genre you struggle with. I can understand why people have struggled with this because it does use a lot of what's considered normal sci-fi tropes, as it were. You know, like I say, it's very Star Warsy in the way things are described, in the way that our characters interact with their environments, the planets themselves. We have like a seedy cantina almost. We have the beautiful unspoilt planet of peace. We have the desolate planet that's been destroyed. It's all there. So I quite enjoyed it because I do enjoy that sci-fi element in Star Wars that is recognisable but just a little quirky enough to be different from our own world. Like I say, the supporting characters I found very, very endearing. There were some very funny moments in here as well as some very dark moments. The romance in here, apparently our two lead characters have a history. And it's built up and it's described and all that. but to me they didn't have chemistry, which I think is probably no one's fault as far as I can work out. You know, we're just assuming these guys, they have a romantic history, therefore there must be chemistry, and I'm sitting there thinking there's no chemistry between these people. But that's just my viewpoint, you might disagree with that. So on the whole, Zenith, if you like sci-fi, if you like particularly sort of Star Wars based sci-fi, you like the more space pirate element, because there's a lot of space pirate element in this. It's not a hardcore sci-fi book like Stephen Baxter or Arthur C. Clarke or any of those kind of sci-fi elements. It's more of a space pirate adventure story set in a sci-fi world. But if you like that kind of thing, give Zenith a go. Like I say, it is a bit long. I think this could have been edited a lot more and got down under 400 pages and been quite a snappy story. But it is a very quick read. The chapters in here are about a couple of pages each. They switch between characters, which if you don't like that, don't bother reading this. But it's a good quick read. You're not, you know, if you've got nothing else on the shelf for now, pick this up and give it a go. I have done a more detailed review on my blog. I'm sure it's my blog. I will leave a link to that down below so you can go and check out the pros and cons. I've actually listed the things that I liked and what I disliked about it, so you can make up a real valid choice. But don't dismiss this just because there has been some hatred gone out of this. I think a lot of that is due to the advanced snippets that were given out before this came out, which made people think they were going to get one type of book, and when this came out they didn't get that type of book that they thought they were going to get. Let's be honest, it's hard to judge a book on a 62-page synopsis. You can't, you know, this is over 500 pages, a lot more happens. So I think that's part of the problem, and I think there might be some element of, oh, she's only got a book published because she has a large booktube following. I'm not even going to go there. That's not fair. These two people, I mean, Lindsay has been publishing books previously. You know, Sasha's come up with this idea. They've worked together. They've produced an idea and they've got it out there. Good for them. Like I say, it's not great, but it's not bad. Give it a go. Make your own mind up, please. So there we are. There are my 3 very quick reviews on the 3 books I've read in the last couple of weeks. Please let me know what you've been reading recently. If you want more detailed reviews, please go and check out my Goodreads page. I'll leave a link down below for you so you can go and find my reviews. Because I do them pretty much straight away after I've read the book, so it's all very fresh in my mind. Whereas filming this video, this has been a few days since I've finished some of these books, so my thoughts have mellowed a little bit, and some things I've completely forgotten about. As I say, there's a link to my book blog in the description box down below, where there are also more detailed reviews. I will leave the link specifically for the Zenith review, because I know some people are quite interested in that. You can find me on social media, links again down below. Say hi, that would be lovely. And as I'm always going to say, if you want to read a book, read a book. Don't let somebody tell you you shouldn't read a book. Go and read it, make up your own mind. Thank you very much for watching. As always, happy reading. Bye.